Okay, so hello everyone. In this video, we'll be learning how to do some basic projects. So we'll be learning six projects in this video. The first one is a basic calculator. The second one is a QR code generator. We have a QR code generator video lined up that is a more customizable one and one of the QR code generators where you could add images and you could change colors, and it would be a nice and very creative tutorial kind of, you could say. The third one we'll be doing is a password generator. The fourth one is a currency converter, and the fifth one is a stopwatch, or a basic a stopwatch timer clock. So let's begin. The code editor we'll be using is VS Code as usual. And if when you open VS Code for the first time, you will be greeted with such a screen. And if you could just open a folder by clicking on open folder. I've already created a folder in the code directory that of my computer, a folder called beginner projects tutorial. I'll just choose that folder. You can create any folder and choose that. That is completely fine. Inside this particular folder, we'll be creating another folder. Like, we'll have six different projects, so to keep them organized, we'll be arranging them or organizing them in a singular folder. So the first project we'll be doing is a calculator. So we'll just type in calculator, and inside this we'll create three files: index.js, index.css, and index.html. Okay, so firstly we'll be coding in HTML. So to begin with, or to have a basic HTML tag system or form, or a system formed up, what we'll do is we'll type in exclamation mark. You could just press in shift and plus one on your shift and one on your keyboard, so the exclamation mark comes up, and we'll just press in enter. So what this does is this gives us a basic structure we could work with. So we'll change the title here. We'll keep the title to be calculator. You could keep it to anything. This is just the title of your web page. Uh, Also, inside the head tag, we'll open another meta tag. Inside this, we'll keep the name to be viewport, and the content would be okay. So we don't need this. This is already there. This is fine. What we'll need is we'll need to declare the style sheet we'll be using. So we'll just press an enter here, and over here we'll open a link tab. Inside this link tab, we'll link it to a relative you know to a relative link. So we'll name this style sheet, and then we'll open a ref, or the the link that it would ref to. So this could be any file or folder also, not necessarily it should be a link. So this can be a file, so it will just ref to, or go to that particular file when we mention about it. Okay, so then we'll come to the body tag. Inside the body tag, we'll open a div, and we'll press this. So we'll just be typing in between the div. So we'll open a form element or a form tag, and we'll keep the name of the form to be forms. You can keep this to be anything you want. Then we'll close the form tag, and inside the form tag we'll be writing input tag, and the type would be text, and the ID would be display. The name would be display again, and disabled. We'll just close this, just put in a slash and close this. After this, we'll open another div. The class would be equal to buttons, the different buttons of our calculator. We'll just close this here. Inside this, we'll open our uh, input tag. So we'll just type in input. Inside input, we'll keep the type to be button, and the id to be btn or button again, and the value to be equal to 7 in this case. Okay, so we'll just close this. So we'll have to paste it a number of times about like all the buttons we have in a calculator. So what we'll just do is we'll just copy this and paste it again and again. So we'll just paste sorry, we'll copy this, we'll come down here, we'll paste it, we'll come down here again, we'll paste it, then we'll paste it again, we'll paste it again, and we'll just go on changing the values. So we'll keep this to be 8, we'll keep this to be 8, this would be 9, this would be slash, this would be 4. So we'll just come down, we'll paste it a number of times, not sideways but below. So we'll change this value to be 5, this would be 6, this would be asterisk or the button we'll use for multiply, this would be 1, this would be 2, this would be 3. We'll need to paste them 4 more times, 1 2 3 and 4. So we'll come here, we'll change this to be minus, this to be dot, this to be plus, or we'll keep this to be 0 and this one to be plus. Okay, so all our buttons are set up now. We'll just close all of these. So we'll just need to type in slash 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 slash. Okay, so after we have added the slashes, what we'll need to do is we'll just go backspace and then we'll press enter again, and we'll open another input tag here, and then we'll keep the type to be button. We'll come down, id would be equal to clear, we'll come down again, value would be equal to c. This is the value that would be displayed on top of the button on the web page, and we'll open a on click function and type in document dot forms dot display dot value to be equal to single quotes. We'll just open it and then close it again, then we'll come down, we'll close this here, we'll open a br tag, and we'll type in input again, the type would be button, the id would be equal, this would be the equals to button that would evaluate what has been written on the calculator. The value that would be displayed on the web page is the is equals to sign, and we'll open another on click function, document dot forms dot display dot value would be equals to eval. We'll open rounded brackets, we'll type in document dot forms dot display dot value again, and we'll just come down here, we'll close this, then we'll close the input tab. Okay, so the basic code for our HTML page is done. What we'll just need to do is we'll need to declare the script here. So we'll just come below this div, we'll open a script tag. Inside the script tag, we'll type in the type to be Java text slash JavaScript. So this would be referring to the JavaScript, the JavaScript file that we'll be writing, that would have the basic function. So the set or the characteristic set would be UTF-8. The source of the file would be index.js, this one, and we'll just close the script tag. So another thing I noticed right now is we didn't close this meta tag, so we'll need to close this meta tag right here. This would fix everything, and and also this particular tag. Yeah, it's nice. Okay, so then we'll go to the index.js file, and inside the index.js file, we'll type in some code. This is about 5 to 7 lines, not more than that. So we'll open or we'll declare a const. It would be buttons. This would be equal to document dot query selector all, and then we'll open rounded brackets and we'll type in double quotes, or we could just press in shift and the quotes button on our keyboard, and then we'll type in hash button. Then we'll close this by typing in a semicolon. Then we'll come down, we'll open another const. This would be display this time. This would be equal to document dot get elements by id, and we'll open another rounded bracket and we'll type in quotes again, and this would be equal to display. So we'll close this here, then we'll come down, then we'll type in buttons dot for each, buttons for each, then we'll open rounded brackets, we'll open rounded brackets again. Inside the second rounded bracket, we'll be typing in button, and then we'll point this to so how to create a pointer, we'll just type in a equals to sign and greater than sign, and then we'll open a curly bracket, and inside this curly bracket we'll type in button dot add event listener. So this would add a event listener to the button. Then we'll type in another rounded bracket, we'll type in quotes and type in click. We'll come here, we'll type in a comma, then we'll type in rounded brackets, another pointer, and open another curly bracket. Inside this curly bracket, we'll type in display dot value, then the plus sign and the equals to sign, and the button dot value. So this would just display the button value and the display value on your screen, so it would be easier for the user to see what is displayed on the calculator. And we'll just close all of these functions. We'll close this one with a semicolon, this one with a semicolon. So closing functions is really necessary, otherwise you will land up into errors, which we do not want to happen because errors are not good. So then we'll go to the index.cs file. Before doing that, what we'll do is just save this. So this is saved, and it would be it would not go, just in case you close the project or your computer closes for some reason or crashes. Okay, so then we'll go to the index.css file, we'll type in asterisk, we'll open a curly bracket, and inside the curly bracket we'll type in margin, and we'll keep the margin to be 0. Then padding, we'll keep the padding to be 0 again. Then outline, Outline would be none. Box sizing would be border box. Then we'll just come down below this curly bracket. We'll type in body, and we'll open another curly bracket, and we'll type in font family. Font family would be Montserrat. Display is not inline, it would be flex or flexible. After that, we'll type in text align, and this would be center. Justify content, this would be center again. Then align items, this would be center again. So what we're doing right now is we are declaring the CSS variables for, not the variables, we are styling the our body tag, the tag we mentioned in our HTML file. We are just styling that how the page would look. So these are the different widths and heights of our elements inside the body tag. So we'll keep the minimum height to be 100 VH, and then we'll keep the background to be linear gradient of hex code. What we can use is 9, we can use 9CE BFC. This is a very nice shade of kind of a blue and cyan color, so this looks very nice. Then the other code we could use is hash 6AE 1FB. This is another blue or cyan mixed hex code, and this looks very nice. So we'll just come below this, like the other exclamation mark. We'll type in dot center. We'll open another, not the exclamation mark, my bad, the curly bracket. We'll open another curly bracket, and inside this curly bracket, we'll just type in the width, and the width would be 350 pixels. Background would be black. So what like a good thing in CSS and VS Code is that you could just type in the color name, and that particular color would be chosen for the color, if just in case you do not remember hex codes, so you can use that. We'll keep the border radius to be the radius of the border, like the border of our center object, or the calculator in this case would be 20 pixels. Then we'll come down to the curly bracket, we'll go down again, we'll type in input, we'll open box brackets, and inside box brackets we'll type in type to be equal to text, and then we'll open curly brackets here. Okay, so you can see this is in red here because we didn't close the double quotes, so that is why it was in red, and that would have caused an issue afterwards if we didn't see that. So we'll open curly brackets again. We'll type in the height. The height would be 60 pixels. Then we'll type in width. Width would be 300 pixels. Margin top, this would be 40 pixels. The border radius, this would be 1 pixel. Okay, so if you have any doubt, or if you're not if something is not clear, or you couldn't understand something, you could just type that in the comments, and I'll just check that out. I'll reply to every comment that I see. So we'll keep the border to be solid, and we'll keep the color to be E1 E7 E1, or we'll just keep it to 7EA. that is a nice shade of white. It looks nice. Yeah. It's a white and cream or peach mix, so it looks nice on the website. We'll keep the color to be black here. Then we'll go down. We'll keep the font size to be 22 pixels. Then we'll come down. Font weight. Font weight would be bold. So font weight basically means the styling of font. You want it italic, you want it bold, however you want it. Then we'll type in text align. The text would be aligned to the right. The padding of right would be 20 pixels, and the background would be linear gradient of hashtag D1B CE0, and we'll have another color to be hashtag DFE 6E9. Yeah, this would look nice. Okay, so then we'll come down below this curly bracket. We'll type in form dot button buttons, and we'll open another curly bracket. Inside this curly bracket we'll type in width. Width would be 300 pixels. Then we'll type in margin. Margin would be 10 pixels of left, 25 pixels of center, 0 and 25 pixels again. Then we'll type in padding. Okay, so this margin is for different devices, depends on what device you're using on it on. So we'll keep the padding to be 10 pixels and 0. So this is the button margin or button padding. So it is according to the buttons. So how the buttons would look, and then we'll keep input. So these are for different buttons on your screen. Like there would be a number of buttons on a calculator that one could press, and it is also aligned for a mobile device or any device you're using. So we'll open another input. We'll type in box brackets. Inside the box brackets, we'll type in type, and type would be equal to button, and we'll type in colon, and we'll type in hover. So when someone hovers on this button, what would happen? So we'll just declare that now. So we'll just type in transition of 0.5 seconds, and background would again be a linear gradient of uh, hashtag BF, and we type in a comma, and hashtag D9. So we'll just come down below this curly bracket. We'll type in input again. We'll type hash, and we'll type clear. So if you remember, these are the class names we declared in our HTML, HTML file right here. See, these are the class names we declared, and we are just, styling those particular classes now. So inside input hash clear, we'll type in the background to be equal to hashtag ff1a1a, which is a nice shade of red. Then we'll have the border to be 1 pixel. This would be solid, and the color would be hashtag cc and 4 zeros. Okay, so you might not remember these, these hex code colors. I remember them, you might not, and that comes with practice. So what you could instead do is just type in the color name. So we'll do that with this one. We'll type the color name for the input box to be white. Then we'll come down. We'll type in input hash clear. This is the clear button. This would be the equal button. We declared the clear button above already. So this would be the equal button, and we'll keep the equal button width to be 275 pixels. We'll keep the margin to be 10 pixels, 0, 10 pixels, 0. We'll keep the font size 30 pixels, color white again, background hashtag FF3D00. This is again a nice shade of red and kind of orange. It looks nice. And the border would be 1 pixels, solid, and hashtag B32AOO. This is again another shade of it. No, it would be 00, not O. My bad. This is again a nice shade of red. We'll just close this. Okay, so we'll just save this. Our project is now all completed and done. So we could visit our project by if we just minimize this. Okay, so now to visit the project we have just created, we'll need to open the Windows File Manager or the File Explorer by just clicking on this icon, or a shortcut we could use is Windows P plus E. So this opens up the Windows File Manager. If we go to the folder where we save the code, that is code slash beginner projects tutorial and calculator. So now if we click on this index.html file, it will open up in our default browser. In my case, it is asking me which browser I want to use. So I'll use Google Chrome. You could use any browser of your choice. I'll just click on OK. Okay, so the calculator now opens up. To test it, you could just type in any numbers, 45 and then into 12 and click on the equal to sign. This would return a result. To check if it is correct or not, we could just open up the Windows Calculator app and we could just type in 45 and into 12. This would return the same value, that is 540. If we click on this C button, this would just erase everything on the output screen, and then we could calculate anything. Okay, so the next project would be available in the next episode. You could see that episode, that would be linked below in the description, and you could then try that project once you practice this one. Okay, so let's meet in the next video.